We are not selling or buying Crimea. This is not a question of money, gas, oil, or anything else. This is the law and order in Europe. This is the security in Europe and in the whole world. Military forces are still on the territory of Ukraine, both in Crimea and in Donbass. Military assets are still delivered to illegal entities created by Russia. And every day we receive more worrying news about the blatant violation of human rights on the occupied territories. Release of the hostages and political prisoners is stalled. And I cannot but mention Oleg Sentsov, Alexander Kolchenko, Roman Sushchenko, and many, many others. People are deliberately chased and captured only for the fact that they are citizens of their own country, of the Ukrainian state. And they are captured with the cynical reason in mind to blackmail Ukraine, which will never abandon its citizens, neither in Crimea, nor in Donbass, nor in the Russian prison. Systemic repression have turned the Crimean Peninsula in an island of no freedom and land of fear. In the occupied Crimea, Russia applies the worst practice of the Soviet repressive machine. Anyone who dares to reject the so-called reunification with Russia becomes a victim of the arbitrary detention, prosecution, torturing, extrajudicial execution, and unhuman treatment. Recently, a deputy head of Majlis, Akhtem Cheygos, received the so-called verdict of the occupation authorities. It was him who said that today Crimea, those are tried who defended the laws of their country, international norms and rules. Could anyone give more precise words describing the situation in Crimea than Akhtem Cheygos in his final statement in so-called court? And this concerns not only Crimea, but Europe as a continent of the rule of law, not rule of force. A case of another deputy head of Majlis, Ilmi Umerov, is also telling. At first, this hero of his people experienced the Russian punitive psychiatry. This day, an occupation court has sentenced him for the 2 years in the settlement colony. The scales of crime and the violation committed by the occupation authorities in Crimea demonstrate that Russia, which is recognized an occupying power by United Nations General Assembly, clearly ignores its international legal commitments. In this context, allow me to express my gratitude for the particular attention that the Parliamentary Assembly and the Council of Europe itself paid to the issue of Crimea. Numerous appeals of the Council of Europe monitoring bodies on human rights to access Crimea are all telling. As telling in an unprecedented decision by the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe, the situation in the Autonomous Republic of Crimea and in the city of Sevastopol, Ukraine, adopted this May.